Hi everyone. I am joined by Jenifer Hoffman today. How are you, Jenifer?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. You are in Vermont right now, correct?
Yes.
And there's a tropical storm brewing.
Yeah. It's downpouring outside right now. I hope the rain is not loud for
No,
you.
I can't hear it at all. So I think we're good, but that's awesome. Jenifer is a local Vermont real estate agent. And Jenifer, how long have you been serving Vermont in real estate?
So I got my license in April of 2011, and I started at one company that had been in business here forever. And, I'll sort of back up a little bit and just say that I've been going to their open houses since I was probably 15 or 16 years old. I just thought that real estate was fascinating, and it was like a weekend hobby with my mom. We would flip through the newspaper and see what open houses were happening that weekend. And so I knew all those agents. I felt like, um, that they were going to be great colleagues for me starting off, because they knew that I was just so passionate about real estate. So fast forward to summer of 2015, I went and got my broker's license. So at that point, I had 4 years of experience, and I always felt like being my own boss at some point would be where I wanted my real estate journey to take me. So altogether now, I've been in the business for just over 9 years.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. So this started as kind of like a teenage hobby in a way.
It
I
did.
mean,
I mean, I saw my parents build their house from the ground up when I was 6 years old. They bought 17 acres of land, they cleared it, and my mom couldn't see like what the view was going to be or where exactly the house was going to go. My dad was like, "Don't worry, I got this all figured out." And I remember when the foundation was poured and they like planked across from one end to the other, and I walked across it as a brave little 6 year old, and just being fascinated by the whole process of construction and real estate.
right.
And that's really what planted the seed in me. So I feel like I've been destined not only for real estate, but also for construction. I married a builder. It's just,
Yeah, that's a good match.
it is. It's a match made in heaven, and it's the fulfillment of a sort of lifelong dream of mine.
That's great. Yeah, right now I'm located in Utah, and we have the parade of homes going on right now,
Oh,
where
okay.
they're showing the newest, biggest, brand new builds. The custom design, and I mean it's just fascinating. Home builds, and
Hmm.
really where it keeps going and keeps expanding, and the trends. And so that's awesome. I'm sure you're really on top of that then, all the trends and everything. And um so you got your brokerage license too. So not only are you a real estate agent, but you have your own brokerage, which is the Hoffman Real Estate.
Yes, I opened up my firm April of 2020 during a
Congrats.
pandemic.
Yeah. Oh
So
wow. Yeah, that's crazy time. Wow.
I really thought it was going to happen about a year from now, for many
But you
reasons.
wanted so badly to open it during a pandemic. That's what happened, right?
When our governor shut down real estate and said we've actually never been essential through the pandemic in Vermont, so
Oh,
we
really?
had to work remotely as much as possible, and anything that we do in person has to be done with PPE and utmost following of the guidelines. But we couldn't go out and do any showings in person at all for about a month. We were totally shut down, and so I still had transactions that were going. I had listings that I was uh, talking to people about, but not having the day-to-day out and about running around like a crazy person like a realtor typically does.
Right.
I thought now's really the best time. I'm never going to have this much downtime to just be hunkered down in my home office. So it just made all the sense in the world to get my website up and running, order my cards, order my signs, and I launched. And I had a wonderful relationship with my old broker, and so she let me take all of my listings and sales with me and finish everything out. So it could not have been a smoother transition for me.
That's great. And we're gonna pull up your website here in a second. It looks beautiful. Nicely done.
Thank
Um,
you.
you're welcome. So in the course of these 9 years or so, how many families, people, individuals have you been able to help with their real estate goals?
I have closed just about 200 transactions,
That's
and um, yeah, I mean, obviously that doesn't even account for all the people that you start to help, and then for whatever reason their journey goes on a different path. They decide to keep their home, stay where they are, or they decided that maybe renting's better for them. I make it very clear to all the people that I work with that this is not about me, that this is about them, and whatever is in their best interest, I am here to help them achieve that. So there have been times where somebody said, I think I need you to come in and help me sell my house. I've just lost my job. I just don't think we're going to be able to afford to stay here. And I had helped them get into that house. And I thought, this can't be the way this ends. Like that's just not what their story is supposed to be. And I went and I would sit down and I would still do my job, give them a market analysis, but I'd also give them the heart to heart and say, if what you really need is a job, I could probably help you get a job. And I've done that. I've made connections with people. I've brokered people to get employment, daycare, whatever services that they needed to be able to help them stay in their home to be successful. That to me is ultimately what my job is, not necessarily just to, ABC, always be closing, but I'm really about building long-term relationships with people, and I want them to be happy on their journey.
Right. Yeah. You're there to help them with their real estate goals. And in that specific example, I'm sure their goal was to hopefully stay in that home. So
Absolutely. They didn't want to sell it.
Yeah, he didn't want to sell it, but so that's honorable, and that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So let's talk about that on the seller side of things. So like, let's say someone were to come and want to sell their home with you, Jenifer. What are some things you do to help them sell quickly, make the transition smooth? Tell me a little bit about that.
So I do think that this is one of the areas where I am different from most local realtors in that I don't see it as just a cookie cutter process. I don't just go into every single situation and say, okay, so you've got to clear out a week from today. I'm going to take the pictures every Wednesday, and then I'll have it up by Friday. I really go through with them, and I help them figure out if selling is really what's best for them. And if now's the right time, I will certainly do a market analysis and a strategy approach to say, here's how long I think it's going to take you. Sometimes they don't even know where they're going yet, and so they need some help finding a realtor on the other end of things. To help them search in their new town. I go through the house with a pretty broad stroke on my first or second visit, and I tell them, here are the things that I think that you should be doing to get this house ready for photos, which are really the very first showing. There's nothing more important than having stellar pictures. So I go through it, do a whole staging plan with them. And that doesn't mean that they're going out and buying stuff. It typically just means that they're trying to start packing. I say to them, you have to pack up and take it all with you when you leave anyway. So let's start that process now. I also keep my own inventory of artwork, pillows, bedding. And so if somebody just doesn't have those things, I don't expect them to go out and spend money just to take good pictures, for an hour. So I'll bring in my own supplies and make sure the house is totally photo ready. Awesome. I do hire professional photographers. I actually take great pictures myself, but there are some things that I've learned I just have to delegate, and I found a fantastic husband and wife team that do both the interior high definition pictures as well as the drone pictures on the outside. We do video, 3D Matterport tours, especially with COVID. That has really dramatically changed the way that we have to market homes. A lot of people cannot come in person because of where they're moving here from. And so being able to offer a very virtual experience for that buyer is just super important. And I feel like that's going to be something that I carry on with me for the rest of my career.
That's great. That's awesome. I think that's a great process. A little plug-in as far as photos. More than 90% of home buyers' experience starts online. So if you're wanting to sell your home, high depth, and not just that, but interior pictures, and understand the angles, like I'm sure your team does. It's really important. That first impression's the reason why people are going to submit their information to get more info, or going to call Jenifer to get more info on it.
It's always amazing to me when I take a buyer out to see one of my listings and they say, wow, your pictures actually really represented this house very well. That they've been looking at other homes and either the pictures online looked terrible and inside looks better, or
Right.
vice versa. They were expecting something nicer and they walked into a not so nice house, but they've said that my pictures are really an accurate representation. And I take that as a huge compliment, because that's my job, is to accurately portray what I'm trying to sell.
Sure. Totally. Well, that's great, Jenifer. I want to go ahead and pull up your Hoffman real estate website, and sounds like you take a lot of pride in it. Did you do some of the design in this?
I had a very hands-on approach with my web designer. We went back and forth. I helped her create all the content, the writing. This is a photo here of North Bennington, which is where I live now.
Beautiful.
That's Lake Perrin in the center of the picture, and Mount Anthony is the mountain peak
Just
in the
around.
background. And this is my hometown. I've lived here my whole life. So it's actually a lot of fun to partner with my photographers and get to see this bird's eye view of town.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great. This is where you can check Jenifer out. Let's go to your contact us page. So if they want something else to contact, and I mean, we'll have your contact information right before, or you can come and submit here. But yeah, hoffmanvtrealestate.com. So this is where you can check Jenifer out.
There's also information on there about my newest agent. I'm not just a solo practitioner anymore. I do have another agent
Go
working
here.
with me. Her name is Erica Floriani. She is a
Okay.
brand new realtor, and so she is training under me. I do hope to have a few other agents by the end of the year. And then underneath Erica's bio is information about my husband, who is doing our property management, and he's my go-to guy when it comes to contracting. I say to people, I know how to find him. So he always gets back to me. A lot of buyers and sellers have questions about how much it's going to cost to renovate a kitchen, for example. If I show them a house and they love it, but the kitchen's bad, or a seller who needs a new roof put on. I have a few of those actually happening with him right now. When you do drone photography, there's no hiding
That's
how the
true.
roof looks. So sometimes we need to do some sprucing up, and those are things that are going to help get us right through the inspection and through the appraisal process without having problems. So John is the guy that I pull on, and he's got 35 years experience in the building
Yeah.
trades.
That's awesome. You got a great team behind you, and hopefully it keeps growing.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, Jenifer, I'm so glad to have you on today. And if you need help with real estate, you know who to go to. So
Southwestern Vermont is my stomping ground. So from Pownell to Manchester in Bennington County, those are the areas that I serve. We have something for everybody. If you want more of a downtown walkable space with lots of shops and restaurants and recreation, there's so many hiking trails around here. If you'd prefer to be a little bit more out in the woods, we have that too. There's lots of lakes and rivers around here. So if you like to fish or just want to enjoy the peace and quiet of Vermont's outdoors, that's what we have to offer. Yeah.
that's awesome. Thank you so much, Jenifer, for your time today.
Thanks, Cameron. I appreciate it.
Have a good one.